Okay, so let's talk about how to create a content ecosystem, or rather streamlining your marketing with a content ecosystem that actually works for your business. You've got an email list, a social feed, maybe even a blog, but it feels like they're all over the place. Each platform is telling a slightly different story, but how can you get them to work together? The problem you might be facing is that your content is disjointed. We need to refocus, restructure, and create a content ecosystem. And I feel like that's the easiest way to see this through. It's with the lens of building an ecosystem where everything can coexist and work together. I'm Debbie Hansen, a productivity and time management coach for entrepreneurs and host of the Systems for Creative podcast, where I teach you how to streamline your system so you can grow your business without sacrificing your personal time. I also have my own creative business where I sell physical planning products. As a one-woman show and solopreneur, it's so important that we manage our time well to get everything done. I'm a mom. We got 3 kids. Life can get pretty hectic, and I know what it's like to run so many different parts of your business inside of 1 week as a solopreneur. You need to ensure everything is streamlined and in place and focused and organized so you can make the most of your day without burning out and do what you are called to do as an entrepreneur and keep that creative fire burning. So when you're thinking about your content ecosystem, your blog post, for example, maybe covering one thing. If you haven't got one, your social posts maybe covering another thing, and you're putting in the time when it comes to creating your content. But it feels like each piece is swimming on its own, maybe even in its own direction. What you need is a strategy that brings it all back together, and a content ecosystem where every piece reinforces the next. Let me tell you about my personal thought reversal that I had when I discovered that I needed a content ecosystem. So I used to think that more content equaled more growth, and I'd pump out blog posts, Instagram stories, weekly emails, hoping that one of them would hit. I've created so many YouTube videos, and I'm not scared to start from scratch, testing and reiterating. I just love to connect with you all. But at some point, it starts to feel very scattered, like I was chasing my own tail. The reality is that content that grows your business isn't about quantity, it's about alignment. It's about building a cohesive ecosystem where every piece supports the bigger picture. Now, what is the bigger picture, and how can we find our own bigger picture if we haven't quite got it? We are used to looking at everything from a kind of scattered, what to post next? What do they want to hear? What do I want to say? Step 1 is to define your core pillars. And your pillars here, I'm not talking about your pillar content pieces. I'm talking about your content pillars for your business. So I need you to start with 3 to 5 content pillars. These are your core pillars that actually represents the values and the goals of your business. For example, my core content pillars are time management, content strategy, and business growth. These pillars act as the foundation for my entire content ecosystem. If you watched my last video or listened to my last podcast, I was talking a little bit about the difference in content pillars and pillar content. But I'm hoping the more I mention these things, it's going to start to click. So I will keep mentioning them. Don't you worry. Take a deep breath and we'll do one step at a time. These core pillars for your content pillars, your business, your marketing strategy, your ecosystem, however you want to look at it, are the foundation for my entire ecosystem. And that's time management, content strategy, and business growth. For your ecosystem, I want you to take this action step. Identify 3 to 5. I highly recommend 3. If you want to brainstorm 5, go ahead and do so. That align with your authors and what your audience actually cares about the most. I go really deep into this and your ideal audience customer journey inside of the Creative Content Fix, which is a 90-minute workshop packed with so much information. Step number 2 is to anchor your content in one place. Choose 1 or 2 anchors, which will be your platforms, where you'll create your primary content. For me, this is my blog and my podcast. They are outward facing, which people will have access to even as free content. I do have my newsletters, which are for my solution-aware people out there, and they go one step deeper than my free content. My actual newsletter is still free, but it's more of a high touch point type of content. For this purpose, with what I'm creating weekly, I will say it's my blog and predominantly my podcast. Once I have this anchor identified, I can repurpose and share this content on other platforms. I have specific prompts that I use with ChatGPT to repurpose my main pillar piece of content. Every prompt that I use, all of my 6 favorite prompts that I use, I think it is, inside of my Authentic Content Fix, which is my free guide, which is how most of you get on my email list, but it's got the full prompts in there. So you can snag it if you want. It will be linked in the show notes. These prompts need to be used with a main pillar piece of content. You have already created that one piece of content. This teaches you how to repurpose it without copying and pasting and making it native to your audience and that particular platform. Pick 1 or 2 at the most primary platforms that anchor your content and then repurpose those pieces across other channels. Hi creative entrepreneurs, if you are tired of scrambling for content ideas and want a smarter way to stay consistent, I've got you covered with my free guide, The Authentic Content Fix. Inside, you will find AI prompts, step-by-step batching process and easy strategies to align your content with your business goals. Snag a copy now at jamiehansa.com, or you'll find the link in the description, and start creating with clarity and ease. Step number 3 is to use a consistent message. Every piece of content should really reinforce the same type of message. When I create a blog post, I do break it into smaller posts for social media. I make sure that each piece I create can stand on its own. I never want to send my audience on that platform somewhere else other than perhaps my email list to get full in-depth strategies. This is a little key tip. Think about it this way. If someone is on Instagram and it's after work and they're watching the reels, they may not really be into going over and reading your blog post. So they might miss out on this whole amazing value of information because you decided to just put a tidbit on there rather than the key juicy stuff. So make it stand on its own, and they can become, even if they only ever watch your reels on Instagram, they can become amazing supporters. They might not be a blog reader, and vice versa. Make a message consistent, but make it native to the platform. So your audience, whatever platform they're on, will still get huge benefit from your content. The only thing the individual content pieces may link to are my actual offers. The result from that is that inside the content ecosystem, it constantly communicates my core message and invites my audience to take a next step with me within my offers. Your action step for step number 3 of using a consistent message is for each content piece that you actually create, plan 3 ways to repurpose it. And I don't mean copy and paste, I mean giving it a new purpose and connect it back to your core message that is your business, your brand, your vision, your ideal client. If someone wants to know more from you, they will go and dive in and find it, okay? Take some time this week to map out your own content ecosystem. I really hope this episode blessed you. Define your pillar, pick your anchors, start planning how each and every single piece are connected inside of your business. Is a strategy that will take your content from scattered to streamline and position you as the go-to expert in your own space. But if you want to know exactly how I plan my month of content ahead to make sure that it's connected, listen to my last podcast or video, wherever you are seeing this. And I am rooting for you always.